Rain in the Face, a celebrated Hunkpapa Lakota Sioux chief and fighter, was a pivotal presence in the 1876 Battle of Little Bighorn, where Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer and his 7th Cavalry met a crushing loss. Recognized for his intense bravery in battle, Rain in the Face also held a profound resentment toward Custer, who he claimed had murdered his brother and sister in a prior skirmish. Certain historical accounts propose Rain in the Face joined the attack on Custer's men and could have landed the killing blow that claimed Custer's life. However, scholars contest this assertion, rendering the precise circumstances of Custer's death unclear. Following the fight, Rain in the Face ultimately yielded to U.S. forces and spent a period in imprisonment. After his discharge, he became an outspoken advocate for Native American rights and a famed entertainer in Wild West shows, where he recounted his combat stories. But before we begin, remember to click like and subscribe to support our channel's growth. Now, if you desire a true tale, I will provide one directly from my own existence. In my youth, before I required these crutches, I was a formidable man. My soul is calm now, but in that time I thrived on conflict and the chase. Women were drawn to me, but men were terrified of me. Combat was my obsession, beyond nourishment, beyond all else. Soldiers shuddered at my name, and the Rees and Crow Scouts would awaken clutching their scalps when they learned I was close. I was a tempest on the battlefield, and my fame alone could send fear through a warrior's spirit. Harry, aware how fighters often brag, cut in. "We accept you were formidable, Rain," Harry stated, "but inform us, how did Tom Custer subdue you? If you were so powerful, how did a man as slight as Tom Custer defeat you?" The query clearly agitated Rain. He grimaced, his honor wounded. Rain was an imposing man, 5 feet 9 inches and 195 pounds, while Captain Tom Custer was much slimmer. After an extended silence, Rain at last conceded, telling his side of the story. To the astonishment of all, he continued further. He proceeded to disclose his personal testimony of the Custer massacre. His speech was graphic, his hands illustrating the picture as he recalled that violent day with raw emotion. Decades of quiet ended. Rain in the Face finally discloses his testimony. For years, Army officers and government operatives tried to extract the truth from Rain in the Face regarding the battle, but he declined to talk. They attempted every method, generosity, payments, even threats, but nothing succeeded. His notoriety as Custer's slayer was so famed that the poet Longfellow preserved him in poetry. So when Rain finally ended his silence, it amazed everyone. I am documenting his words precisely as interpreter McLaughlin reported them. Rain started. 2 winters before the great battle, Gall and Sitting Bull established camp at Standing Rock. All our people there defied the government. We were Hunkpapa Sioux, dauntless. The Yanktonais were compliant Indians, holding to the agency, pleading for rations and goods. Life was prosperous in our warrior camp. Dancing, horse races, target practice, games. Buffalo and deer were abundant, and our pony herds extended for miles. The maidens favored me, but they would taunt me for amusement. When my anger ignited, I longed for a fight. One night, a girl challenged me to ride to Fort Lincoln and slay a white man. I cautioned her it was certain death. Soldiers everywhere, re-scouts on watch. She ridiculed me. A genuine warrior knows no fear. If you are feeble, remain. I will find a Sundance dancer with nerve. That decided it. The girls tittered, but the youth stayed quiet. They understood me. I would have killed any who chuckled. I went back to my lodge, painted my face black, and took my weapons. Under the cover of darkness, I rode 45 miles north to Fort Lincoln. For 2 days I observed, waiting to attack a soldier. I could have slain a Ree-woman or a lumberman, but I needed a soldier's buttons for that taunting girl. When I presented them, she sewed them proudly onto her shawl. Then, at sunrise, I noticed the trader and the horse doctor walking to a spring. Yellowhair, Custer, and his troop were riding back, just 100 yards away. I charged, shot the trader, and smashed the doctor's skull with my club. Arrows finished them. I was cutting off buttons when Yellowhair heard the shot and turned his men around. No time for scalps. I leaped onto my pony and jeered at them to follow. They chased me to the Cannonball River. That winter, I went to the Standing Rock Agency store. No rations for me. I had rejected the treaty. The one-armed storekeeper was present. I feared neither him nor his 30 bald-headed soldiers. They ambushed me from behind, overwhelmed me, threw me into a wagon, and held me down all the way to Lincoln's guardhouse. They dishonored me. No chief's treatment, only chains, an empty cell, and one thin blanket. The severe winter and a warrior's retribution. All winter long, the freezing wind screamed through the gaps in the walls, burying me in snow. The cold cut to the bone. Once, Little Hare took me outside, and the soldiers urged me to run. I knew their plan. They wanted a reason to shoot me in the back, so I stared Little Hare in the face and vowed that if I ever got away, I would cut out his heart and eat it. They kept me chained to a white prisoner, but one night we broke out. Bullets flew past us as we escaped, scrambling for shelter along the Heart River's banks. My companions sawed through our shackles with a knife, but they captured him by sunrise. I disappeared into the wild, though I knew the search for me would never cease. When I returned to Sitting Bull and Gall, even they dreaded the repercussions of harboring me. So I sent Little Hare a message, a buffalo hide painted with a bleeding heart, a reminder. My vow still held, and when our paths crossed again, I fulfilled my promise. The reality behind Custer's last stand. That is all I will say on that. Much of my account matched the Army's files, the killings of the sutler and Dr. Hunsinger, but we urged him for the story of Tom Custer's heart. McFadden pushed a drawing of Custer's charge toward Rain. Did the battle resemble this? Rain's laughter burst out like a storm. Falsehoods. Soldiers did not wield sabers. They fought with rifles and pistols. They got off their horses, every fourth man holding reins. We tied ourselves to our ponies, riding bare-skinned and painted, swirling like a hurricane around them. This picture shows us with bows, but we possessed more lethal arms. Their rifles jammed, cartridges stuck inside. I saw dozens littering the ground, unfired. When their guns failed, we shattered skulls with war clubs, simple as slaughtering sheep. Some pleaded. We offered no pity. White men's images always deceive. Here, he turned the paper over, drawing a rough map. This is the Little Bighorn. Our village curved along it like a strung bow. How many lodges? Harry interrupted. Innumerable. 4,000 warriors, perhaps 6. Lodges, like grass in a prairie fire. Sitting Bull climbed a hill, performed powerful medicine. He came back waving a sacred bundle, yelling the Great Spirit's message. Soldiers approach, but they will die. The next day, scouts brought news. Sitting Bull commanded decoy lodges, empty tents to trick the rescouts. Then he departed to pray, coming back only after the battle. Gall led. Crazy Horse commanded the Cheyennes. Goose, the Bannocks. I was no chief, but my Hunk Papa band fought like wild beasts. We knew the soldiers' horses were exhausted. Their scouts took the lure, believing us few. When they divided their troops, we celebrated. Gall swept upstream to outflank them. Longhair's unit reached the bluffs, and our young men blocked their retreat. Their assault broke under our gunfire. Surrounded, they dismounted in clusters, every fourth man holding horses. We tightened around them like a trap. Officers yelled, but in the dust all uniforms appeared the same. I never witnessed Longhair fall. The Reese sang their death song. They knew it was finished. Then we surged over them like a flood breaking through a levee. The frenzy of combat and a vengeful victory. We shot the soldiers holding their horses, then sent the panicked animals stampeding by waving our blankets. Our women gathered the tired ponies as the fight continued. I had sung my war song, inhaled the bitter gunpowder smoke. My mind was lost, replaced by pure battle rage. When I captured their flag, my pony fell under me. I cut the straps loose, jumped up, and smashed the flag-bearer's skull with my war club. Sprinting back through the turmoil with their banner, I felt victorious. This was a warrior's peak. Our fighters shouted approval as we continued the assault. Hot blood and brain matter sprayed across my face, the metallic taste filling my mouth. Overwhelmed by fury, I mounted a new pony and charged back into the carnage, shooting, cutting, unyielding. When that horse went down, I seized another. Then I spotted him. Little Hare. My blood oath memory burned brightly. Shielded by my white weasel tail charm, I fought like a man inspired. Bodies dropped as I fought toward him. When our gazes locked, I laughed at his fear. His lips moved in prayer or begging. The gunfire swallowed his words. One revolver shot to his chest, settled our debt. I do not recall releasing my gun. Jumping down, I sliced out his still-beating heart, took a savage bite, and spat it in his dead face. Waving the gruesome prize, I rode from the field, my revenge fulfilled. Scalping seemed pointless. My promise was honored. The aftermath and divided leadership. While I left, our women finished the injured, gathering plunder, harvesting boot leather, even cutting off fingers for rings. They searched unsuccessfully for Longhair's scalp. His short hair and absence of uniform concealed him among the slain. That night's victory celebration included feasting and scalp dances. Sitting Bull took the credit. My medicine made you courageous, but Gaul retorted, "We won the battle while you performed magic." Their competition divided the camp. Some followed each chief, while, like me, many warriors followed neither. When scouts reported approaching artillery, we traveled north across the border. I stayed there until Sitting Bull's return brought me home. This story, never before told to white men, now leaves my lips content. The truth is spoken. The unanswered questions and Rain's legacy. When Rain went quiet, I pressed him. "If you did not kill Long Yellowhair, who did?" His reply was direct. "No one knows. The battle was chaos, like fighting in the dark." Mac then asked why Custer avoided scalping when others had not. "Courage does not protect a man from scalping," Rain mocked. The women looked. He must have been hidden under bodies. When questioned about Curly, the Crow Scout who said he had fled the battle, Rain's disdain was obvious. Curly lies. His horse gave out, and he ran. A coward, not a fighter. The last living witness. Now around 60 winters old, Rain exists as the only surviving chief from the Little Bighorn. He scratches his name in English letters, but comprehends little of their meaning. Though he understands most spoken English, his speech remains broken, perhaps 30 rough words, barely understandable to white ears. True to his people's customs, Rain shows gratitude only for future kindness, never past deeds. His bravery is undeniable, but his ethics follow the old warrior's code. Yet when he gives his word, he keeps it, though persuading him to pledge anything demands immense patience. Despite his age, he remains powerfully constructed, the very picture of Cooper's noble savage. His redeeming trait? Once promised, he never breaks his word, but obtaining that promise tests even the most determined man. This rare personal testimony offers new insight on that decisive June day in 1876, not the cleansed legend, but the unvarnished truth from the final man alive who could tell it.